to Wednesday Night Chats live in Park City, Utah.
Park City. So we got our Utah gear on. The first thing we do every time we come is go to the bookstore and buy my new Utah gear. So they had all the good football stuff out. So I was super excited about it. Tonight we've got a huge show for you. This is one that I've been anticipating. And a few weeks ago I said I'm going to have somebody on. It's a big deal. And that's what this is. The feedback on the music, by the way, we're using this music's overwhelming. Just know that it's overpowering. You don't hear my loud mouth.
We'll turn it off, in a few minutes.
But yeah, so we've got a really, really important person for you to talk to tonight. We've got Gini Helms out of Utah, and he's running for, and I'm going to let him talk about it, he's running for president of the Mail Handlers Union for a multi-state area. And that's a huge thing. I've known Kenny for a long time. A lot of you saw pictures of us at the Ohio State red and white game. And, we hung out, and Kenny and I have some of the same interests, more than just OWCP. He also likes jazz music, so we might get into that a little bit. We got to watch a lot of jazz and a lot of fun. Some of his local postal folks had a nice band. But we're going to talk about Kenny and talk to him, interview him, ask him questions that are relevant to you. And this is a guy that's got a huge background, and it's going to be a big deal for the Mail Handlers. But like we're in Utah, normally I don't do any of this talking. I'm watching Kenny in the background, just chilling on out. You don't see him yet. I want to do the same thing.
Hey, Tammy, how are you?
So I'm sure we'll have some doctors popping on tonight. We're going to let him say hello too, but we're going to start off talking with Kenny, and then when we're done with that, I'm going to do a class on schedule awards, because we'll be getting a lot more questions on schedule awards. Let's clear that up.
Yeah, you guys need to share this video because a lot of people are trying to schedule awards and don't understand the process of getting one, how to get one, and what that final is on that. Sometimes you don't need an attorney. Sometimes you do. So we're going to cover all of that, and a lot of the scheduled awards information and part is in the books. You can get the books at PDF@OWCP.com.
The books?
Yeah.
That's two of them. The other one's on PDF. You got to download it to your phone. You need to download them all to your phone. And put pocket. This is the first book ever that you can just put in your pocket. It's not true. Okay? You do Audible. So this is not new. You've read your books on whatever your devices are. None of this is new. Okay, I'm just giving you a way to do something that's old and put it in your pocket. So breaking OWCP and put it in your pocket.
All right. So we're going to bring on somebody. We're super excited to have him on. He's such a nice man, and he's doing so much for his union. And we're going to let him speak on that. And he does have a podcast as well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
So let's go ahead. And let's welcome Mr.
Our friend Kenny Helms. There's just not enough people clapping with you on here tonight.
I'm backstage listening to the music, and I'm thinking I need to grab a microphone and just come in on the beat.
So, Kenny, you're sitting in your studio right now.
Yes, I am. I'm
so tell everybody first what you do in that studio.
In that studio, I crank out some podcasts on OWCP. I crank out podcasts. My goal is to keep postal people informed on the goings on in the post office, because so many people work there, think they know, but really don't know. And until they sit down and read and do definite research, we've got a long way to go, and I'm going to try to help get us there.
So what's the name of your podcast, and where can they find it?
Oh, the name of that podcast is, hold on one second. It's the Gini Helms Postal Podcast. I'm on Facebook, Blog Talk Radio. Anywhere where you can find a podcast platform, you'll find the Gini Helms Postal Podcast. You can just Google Gini Helms Podcast, and any smartphone will take you right to the information source.
All right, so we're going to tag that here. Tag this. Google the Gini Helms Podcast.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, we're going to do that so everybody that's watching us can find you. So you do those on Tuesday nights, is that right?
Well, what happens is I do, and in fact, on Tuesday night, I work with your partner, Tom. Tom and I on Tuesday night, we do a sick call podcast. Awesome information. In fact, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we did a My Supervisor Said podcast that went that had a lot of downloads on it. So people really enjoy the information. And I tell people I try to surround myself with people who know how to help postal people. And for the years that me, you, Chris, Gini, and now Tom has been associating, I have no problem with recommending federal injury centers to anybody who needs help with an on-the-job injury.
I appreciate that. You know, we try to do a good job, and obviously we don't want to make you look bad by recommending somebody that makes you look bad. So we're on the hook for that too.
Hey, knock on wood,
right?
And I've sent a lot of people your way.
We appreciate it, and I know they do too. The folks that you're sending, because we get their claims accepted.
Yes, and that's the name of the game. Somebody's going to be in the injury compensation game that cares about the employee. Somebody's got to be there to care about that person who gets hurt, and not, as what postal management like to do. You could be a superstar forever. You have an injury, and automatically, they send you down to the D League, man.
So we're gonna get into a few things here. I want to talk about the office you're running for, but before we get to that, there are people right now that are watching you, and they're going, "This guy carries himself with authority." So talk to everyone about you being a Marine.
Well, you know, I'm not going to date myself. Back in 1976. Yes, 1976. I went into the Marine Corps. I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, and then got out for 1 year and spent 35 years in the Army. Now, again, part of my platform is a president with presence. And I like to think I have that presence, but I like to think I have that presence because I spend countless hours studying and preparing to be in a position to speak with confidence.
Yeah, no doubt. So look, I knew that you transitioned to the Army. Tell everybody what you did there.
Well, for a short period of time, I was a drill sergeant in the Army.
That's right. The drill sergeant. We ran in an infantry combat trainer. But you know what I tell people? It gives me the foundation for training, but everybody don't get the drill sergeant training. Unless you're a basic trainee, I would never try to talk to you or give you the drill sergeant business. But again, it gives me a good foundation for how to set up and organize training. And that's one of the major things I'm going to bring to Local 304, that training. Perfectly into the next question. I know you are running for office. You are a mail handler, and you have been a mail handler, and you'll tell us how many years, but tell us also what office you're running for. This is not your first time. You've held this position before.
No. Well, I held a branch president position before, and there was some confusion, some differences of opinion that kind of made me and my local president, see the same issue differently. But that was yesterday. But this time I'm running for the local president. I want to represent Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky for the National Postal Mail Handlers Union. What I'm trying to do, for anybody who didn't see that's what I'm trying to do right there. And
there it is.
I want those three states to know that with Kenny Hodge representing you, you don't have, trust me, I'm always going to be there to represent you.
Can you say which states that you represent for those that don't know?
He just said it.
Oh,
yes, Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. I like to say okay.
Hey, that's good. Hey, so if you're on here and you're from Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky, you put a bunch of hearts, give Kenny some hearts, show him some love.
And vote for him.
And vote for Kenny.
Because I'm going to represent you. And again, because I'm domiciled out of Columbus, people in Columbus know of my work. But for Indiana and Kentucky, I'm trying to get out, make visits. In fact, I was able to attend a function in Indiana. The mail handlers had their outing. I was able to stop down and introduce myself to some. But again, I'm trying to stay in social media to let folks know that there's another alternative. And I think it's time we took a break. I think it's time that mail handlers in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky felt comfortable knowing that if there's a situation, Kenny Hodge is going to be there. And if Kenny Hodge is going to be there, that means the rest of the staff is going to be there. Again, we go back to that training.
Yeah.
If I'm always on point, my vice president, my executive officers are going to be on point, and that's going to give the mill handlers in those 3 states a feeling of confidence that the rest of the mill handler union is going to want to enjoy also.
Man, no doubt. So with your background and you've been a mill handler for how long now?
About 18 years now.
18 years. You were a supervisor for how many years prior to that?
Hold on one second. Wait, you're bringing out the dark side, Chris. You're bringing out the dark side.
Okay, so the dark side is exactly what I think of.
But you know what? I was on the dark side for over 25 years.
So 25 years, 18 as a mill handler, drill sergeant and Marine. What do the supervisors think when you walk into a grievance?
They better be ready. That's what they think. And again, and this is what I try to, when I had my time as the branch president, this is what I try to teach the stewards there also. Management is going to try to razzle dazzle you because being prepared for anything is not what they like to do. So when you take a steward and you give the steward time to study, train, maybe bounce that meeting off of me before you have it with the manager, that puts management in a very uncomfortable position. And I'm sorry, it might sound cynical, but I love to keep management in a very uncomfortable position.
And with your background, you know exactly what to do to put them in that position.
Yes, I do. And you know what? I probably know their job better than they know their job. So it makes it even more difficult when they try to BS me. We're not going to have that. Nope, that's not happening. It's not. I look at them right in the face. Nope, that's not how that goes.
Well, you did your job longer than most of them are doing their job now.
Well, and again, I was a trainer there. And I tell people, it took me a while to convince mill handlers around the nation that I'm not postal management anymore. But I tell people, I can't take those years back. So what I do with those years is I use them to put the mill handler craft in a better position. I can pretty much dictate to you management's position before the argument starts because I used to train them on what they have to do. So, but I tell them, I switch teams, and I'm loyal to that craft of mill handlers. And with me as your president, I guarantee they'll never, and I don't mean sometimes, there'll never be a decision made where you think I supported management. That don't exist.
Well, you switch teams. It's been nearly 2 decades that you've been on this side.
Yes.
There's no chance you're going back. If you're going to go back, you would have done that already.
No, there's no going back. And in fact, I do work in all crafts. I represent and advocate for letter carriers, for clerks, maintenance. It doesn't matter because I'm well versed in all the contracts. Again, because of my former years, I had to know them. So now that I know them, I keep abreast with them, and I try to keep myself in position that anytime any post employee, and let me say, I'm domiciled in Ohio, but I brought back people to work in Jacksonville, Florida, New York, in different states. If you contact me, I go to work for you.
Well, I know that's true. So this feels very familiar. I've been on your podcast, and again, it's the Kenny Hodge podcast. Find it on Google or anywhere you get your podcasts. And so this feels very comfortable. Everyone should know we did not discuss what all the questions were. This wasn't we didn't pre-record. We didn't practice. Kenny got on like 5 minutes before we had started. We talked about everything but this. I mean, you're just organically. This is what you do. This is how you think. It's what you do. This is how you live.
Yep. You know, and it's funny. Yesterday I had a day off, and I spent yesterday reading the mail handlers had a major arbitration award on Article 32 about some outsourcing of mail. And I tell people I like what I do. So my day off yesterday was spent breaking down that 32-page arbitration decision so that I can present that on a podcast to the mail handlers who's not going to take the time to read it. And I'm a firm believer that I understand all mail handlers are not going to get actively involved in the contract. That's just the way life is. Yeah, but all I ask you to do is you get involved enough to elect me in the office, and I'll take care of the rest for you.
Wow. So, you know, in all your years, you've seen it from both sides, and you know the problems that your members and the carriers, the clerks, the rural carriers, you know what they're going through.
Yes.
What are the things, because obviously this is an OWCP show, and we can loop it back around to that. What are the things in OWCP that you're seeing when your folks are coming to you needing help? What kind of problems are they dealing with? And let's just focus on the devastating ones.
Okay. Well, I had a carrier who was delivering a route on probation, broke her wrist, came back to the office, and this is recently, and instead of giving her medical help, the supervisor punched her off the clock and told her she can resign or they have to terminate her. Yes. And we were currently fighting that, and we're engaged in that right now. But I'm saying, to the postal employees, you got to know if you go to work and you get hurt at work, you got to ask more questions. There's no way you should be allowed to be handled in that manner. Quit or I got to fire you. And I understand you're new, but somebody's got to be around to make sure that don't happen. And I try to be around for that.
So those are things you're gonna show up ready for battle.
Yes, and because and a lot of people don't understand my method of fight, but I tell them, because I've been a part of postal management, I know what they don't know, and I know what they try to BS on. So when I come to negotiate, my posture is always different, because where you have to warm up to them, I'm way past that point with them.
So this is a little bit off topic, but I had an opportunity to spend some time with you in Ohio, and I got to be around you in your element. So this is a question that a lot of people are uncomfortable answering, but I'm going to ask it. How does it feel to be the most loved person in the room when you walk in?
What's this? We just went to a lucky environment that time.
I was in awe. Look, I'm sitting there around people that you know. Yes. And you can't even take a breath. People want to talk to you. It's like they're lining up for you.
Well, and you know what? And again, I laugh at it, but I make that available to people. I want people to anytime you see me, we can talk postal. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got a life also, but this is just something that I like doing, and I've been doing it on one side or the other for almost 40 years. So I'm very well versed in it, and it is so much easier for me to go out of state to help somebody than to tell them I can't help you. So, and a lot of times on my Facebook page, I guess because some of the things that I post, people think I don't walk the walk to match the talk that I talk. Right. But I think I've proved them wrong during the COVID, because I probably went into more states than most unions did and spoke to more plant managers and got so many postal employees paid COVID leave that otherwise we're not going to get it. So, like I said, I'm always trying to be frontline. I'm always going to give up myself for the craft.
Well, I'm always impressed with somebody that carries so much authority and then is not intimidating at the same time. That always impresses me. Well, and that definitely defines you.
Well, like I said, I try to do what I do, and people sometimes like to confuse it with arrogance. But if you see the time that I study and put in to prepare myself to speak the way I speak, it's not arrogance. It's nothing but confidence.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I love it. Well, I'm really happy that we're friends. It's interesting how we got to know each other. Do me a favor, because this is a lesson to everyone else. How did we come across each other? Just tell everybody how this happened.
I'm trying to think I met your wife before I met you.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I met your wife because she was doing the you watch it. I think you guys had like maybe a half a federal injury center when I met you.
Yeah, right. A half of one.
Yeah, I think maybe you had about a half of one. Now what do you got, about 1,000? So yeah,
it's a fraction of 1,000, but it's still big. We're around 50 now.
Yeah, but
it's 50 more than almost everyone else has.
I watch you guys grow from startup to where you're going to right now. And again, when I first met you, I knew that you knew what you were talking about. And again, you compliment me on my position, but anytime I call you, I could call you. This is the confidence that I have in your ability, Chris. If I call you on Wednesday and you tell me today is Saturday, well, I believe it's Saturday, man. No, but when it comes to OWCP, brother, you have me reading codes that I don't know, man, but I'll read them and, hey, Chris, what does this mean, man? Then
Right.
you break it down to me. So now I'll feel like the subject matter expert. But I really enjoy being connected with federal injury centers because the information you guys put out, you're not going to hear that at work. And I try to spend time telling people, listen, you're going to hear information that you're not getting from your supervisors, but this is the information you want to hold on to.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, man, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. So I told everyone, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago that I was going to have a very special guest coming soon. And then we just had to work it out because we're always traveling. We've been in like 5 places in the last 5 weeks.
Well,
and,
anytime, man. And again, anytime I can share the spotlight with federal injury centers, man, that's a good spotlight to share.
Well, the feeling's mutual. So let's recap. So you're in Ohio. You got Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. You're running. When's the election for that?
This November we'll be voting. In Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky. I'll be running against an incumbent who has been there past his time. And not saying anything bad, but sometimes you just need new vision. And right now, the current president has been retired so long that I think that the focus is not there anymore. So now here comes Kenny Hodge with a different focus, bringing in a new attitude. And I hope that the members in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky will get behind this movement because I'm telling you, they don't really know what a strong local is yet. They've not been a part of it yet. And I pride myself on bringing that so that when I walk around the Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky area, I want to hear people say, yes, I'm proud to be in Local 304.
Listen, man, a friend of mine is a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everyone that's watching, meet your friend Kenny Hodge, and come see him every week at the Kenny Hodge podcast. If you're in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky in November, get out and vote. And I mean, look, you're all getting who Kenny is behind the scenes. This is what I like. I like people to know what they can't find about you someplace else.
Well, and again, one thing you will know about me is I love a challenge. I love helping people who think that there is no other way, and there's no better joy I get at helping somebody who think that their ship has sunk, and then we still make it float. That's how I get down.
Yeah, no doubt. So one thing about you is you're not looking for a position for the sake of having it.
You know what, Chris? I tell people I do more work for the local, right? For not for the local. I do more work for postal employees right now than I'll probably do once I'm in office.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do it because I've been blessed with the ability to do it, and I enjoy doing it.
Well, you know your stuff, and man, I'm proud to know you, and I really appreciate you coming on here tonight and telling everybody who you are. Some folks have heard me on your show. Now they've heard you on my show. I look forward to coming back to yours sometime.
But all you got to do is pick up the phone, pick up the microphone, and you set the stage, man.
We did it live in that. I was sitting like right in front of where he's facing. Yeah, so I know right where he's at. Well, Kenny, I really appreciate you being on. We're going to be talking about schedule awards now, and I'm going to get on up with questions on schedule awards. Everybody wants to know.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to grace this platform right here, and I want folks to know that a vote for Kenny Hodge is going to be a vote that you're not going to regret. I promise you that.
So, I second that. And I want to tell you, Kenny, I meant that, and you know it, but the rest of the folks
know. We're good, Chris. We're good, man.
Look, you're a good friend of mine. I mean, we're good friends. You're going to be back.
Yes, sir.
So I want to have you back before you win, and then after you win, you can give your winning speech right here on
I'll be. Listen, I'm always honored to do that. Always.
All right.
Hey, listen, brother. You have an awesome rest of the show, and I thank you for the opportunity. Hey,
all right, Kenny. Thank you. Everybody go to Kenny Hodge. Wait, the Kenny Hodge podcast on Google.
On Facebook, Kenny Hodge Postal Podcast. You can join my page on Facebook, and it'll automatically take you to Blog Talk Radio.
There you go. Go to Facebook, go to the Kenny Hodge Podcast.
Hey, have a wonderful rest of the show.
All right, man. Have a good night. Thanks for being here.
All right, no problem.
All right, that was Kenny Hodge.
Yes. Whoops. So we're going to be doing, guests every once in a while.
It'll be hard to find one like this one. No, seriously, Kenny Hodge is a bad man. This is somebody that, I do this for a living. I'm always teaching about OWCP, but, he found us and asked me to come and teach on or talk on his podcast. And as much as I do this, I've never felt more, humbled. So it's nice being there. This is a guy that speaks the language the way we do.
Yeah.
But not just work common. So I just wanted you to see who he is. Marine, Army, drill sergeant, supervisor of 20+ years, mail handler, 20+ years. I mean, this guy's been everywhere. So it's good that you know. So if you're in the area, go check him out and go to the Kenny Hodge podcast, and you'll see me there or hear me there. From time to time, you'll hear that Tom there as well. We'd like to go on Kenny's podcast.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to go back into the training section of our live. So tonight, for those of you that probably weren't being on and Chris turned off the fireplace.
I got some dripping off of me, literally.
She
got the fireplace on me, like it's summertime still.
And it's going to be dropping down to 56.
It's August, and these fools outside our window have a fire going too.
I'm going to be out there right after this.
It's August. Like, don't get too far ahead of yourself. The snow's coming. It's not today.
But it's going to be 56 tonight. Ooh, I love it. Okay.
All right, anyways. Hey, it's so nice to be with everybody.
Live from Utah.
Live from Park City, Utah. So those of you that follow us know that this is her favorite place and not mine. Gini went to school at the University of Utah, the only school with 2 U's. Thank you very much. The UU. Yeah, there's 2 of them. So Miami actually does this, so it's like UU. But anyways. Yeah, so we're in Park City. Tomorrow, we're doing a class with Dr. Wood in his office in
Cottonwood Heights,
which is a suburb of Salt Lake City, right?
Right. So if you're in Salt Lake, it'll only take you 21 minutes exactly.
And if you're in the Salt Lake area or in Utah or
Wasatch County, Utah County,
and you're not at our open house tomorrow night, we're going to have a talk on Thursday. Yeah, Friday.
We look forward to seeing
we really want to see
friends because we know there was so many people that wanted us to open a place there, especially something close to Salt Lake. So we did it, and I couldn't be any more happier.
Well, nobody wanted an office here more than she did, and nobody wanted to sleep in his bed more than I did. So we found an office in Salt Lake City, but we're really excited. Dr. Wood's got his nurse practitioners, his MDs. I was talking to him today. He's hiring 2 more doctors. I mean, this guy is ramped up. He's got a big office, nice equipment, good staff. He's fully trained. So you got to get out. Come see us tomorrow. I'm going to do a little talk for about half an hour, but it'll probably be different than I'm used to. Like we were just in Charlotte a few weeks ago, and we had a nice talk with a group there. But, this one's a little different because we've been out here a few times in the last few years meeting with federal employees who are having trouble, and all of them said, we don't have any doctors. Doesn't have doctors. They're not trying hard to let you know. So obviously, we do. We try very hard to let you know, and this is the beginning of that. So now you know. There's an office there.
Yeah. So
come see us.
That'll be tomorrow from 6:30 to 8 or 6 to 8, something like that.
Or as long as you keep us there.
They're going to have appetizers and drinks.
Yeah.
Chris is going to be teaching for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to do Q&A. It's going to be really fun. So, and the staff there is amazing. I have to say, whoever the marketing person is there, I have to give her a big hug because this girl went everywhere and got in.
We've had a ton of RSVPs, like way more than we're used to.
Yeah.
I mean, she went through the Secret Service a few times. Like they carry guns, so I like that.
Yeah. So we're super excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But I'm really excited to be there. And, that's a overused word, excited. I'm excited. But I'm like thrilled. I didn't know growing up that I was going to love Salt Lake City more than any other place or Park City. So we're glad to be here. And we're looking forward to seeing our friends here. It wasn't that long ago that I was teaching at APWU for Utah. And we did a 3-hour class that to this day, and every day before that is still the funnest class I ever did.
Yeah,
I had more fun myself. Like I was personally entertained teaching that group for 3 hours. And hopefully you're watching, many of you are going to be there tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. We're both looking forward to seeing you. So come out to Dr. Wood's place tomorrow night at 6 p.m. For an open house, meet and greet with the 2 of us, Dr. Wood and his staff. And we're going to have a good time. I guarantee you. If you don't have a good time, go home and tell people you did anyways.
Yeah. So not only is Utah known for the greatest snow on earth, it's known for the greatest people in the state.
No doubt. And you know what? I mean, Birmingham might have something to say about that.
Birmingham is on my number 2. Well, Alabama.
Alabama, because I mean she's from here. But anyways, we're super glad to be here, and like can't wait for tomorrow. Having Mr. Hodge on tonight, he hates when I call him Mr. Hodge. Having Kenny on tonight was a real treat. If you're in Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, please get the word out.
Right.
All right. So what we got? So we're going to talk about schedule awards tonight.
Victor said, "I thought Jacksonville was the funniest group."
Well, funnest. Okay. Victor, you just had to be there. The 3-hour class I had in Utah was everybody. You guys gave me like a small fraction. It was an incredible group. I mean, yours was too. We love you, Victor. And come to Orlando and let's hang out.
Hey, Ron. Ron was saying hello.
Ron, my boy.
Okay. So tonight, this is a really big topic. A lot of you keep asking us over and over questions about schedule award. We're going to answer it. We're going to tell you how one gets one, when can you get one, and everything that comes leading up to getting one. Also, in all 3 of the books,
there's only 2 here because the other one's PDF.
All 3 of the books have a topic about schedule award. I think the 3rd one or the 2nd one has
the 2nd one has the chart.
The chart. Okay.
Yeah,
I know a lot of you are going to ask, hey, what does an arm cost? What am I going to get for an arm? So
I'll just tell you where to go to find the information. I'm not going to know how many dollars you're going to get on a schedule award because there's too many factors that have to be multiplied in. But in my 2nd book, I told you how to multiply it yourself and figure out how much you're going to get. So if you get the 2nd book on PDF, which I prefer, it's a lot cheaper for you and it's better for you because you can save it to your phone and put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
So I actually want you to get the PDFs and spend less money and have the information right in your phone. But then you can go and just see how much your schedule award is going to be yourself. But we're going to talk about that tonight at length. I imagine you'll have some people have questions outside of that. That's fine. I'll answer those as well.
So hold your questions. Let Chris go over, what is schedule award, when you get one, how to get. Let me just say, Dr. Cox and
what's happening? All right.
And he says there are so many great treatment facilities within FIC in order to fight with you. Check out FIC facilities and reach out to those great supporters.
Now, let me tell you something about Dr. Cox in the Charlotte office. I mean, we were just there a few weeks ago, so you saw us there, but there's nobody in our network of doctors. It's not that we don't have other doctors that are fired up and like fully engaged, but I'll tell you, there's nobody as engaged and as fired up, certainly not more than the office in Charlotte. They are just like firing on all cylinders. So if you're in the Charlotte area or anywhere in North Carolina, that's where you go. So Dr. Cox, thanks for being here. Our docs come on because they want to know what you're thinking and what you're saying. So they like to come on and just, pay attention to what you're thinking. It helps them do a better job for you later when you show up as a patient.
Yes. So we have a few people on YouTube and LinkedIn. So we have Melissa from the Roscoe Federal Injury Centers in Illinois.
Hey, like an hour from Madison, Wisconsin. That's such a strategically located office because it's a border city from Illinois and Wisconsin. And we're able to capture a lot of people because we get calls in Wisconsin all the time that says, we don't have any doctors. Well, they're not that far from you. And so we have an office that strategically is able to help a lot of people in that state as well. Being here, again, like I said, the docs like to come on and see what you're saying so they understand you better when you show up as a patient.
And Jacqueline is on.
From Charlotte.
From
hello.
Charlotte. So hello, Jacqueline King. But
nobody puts together an event like Jacqueline from Charlotte.
I
Nobody.
know.
Nobody. Forget about it. Nobody. That's it. Don't even have a debate. It's over. Nobody does better than she does.
Okay. So if you haven't shared and haven't tagged your coworkers, because this is very important, and also remember, all of our videos are saved on here. So if you can't get to finish watching it or you can't watch it until you get home or whatever, just click the videos tab and all of our videos are on there since February 2016.
I mean, we're coming up on 7 years.
Yes.
This February will be 7 years.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody said no one in Hawaii.
Yeah, we know.
We're working on.
No, but that's a nice one. No one in Hawaii is as helpful as you both.
Yeah.
You left out the best part. Well, we know. Thank you for saying that. We really appreciate it. And look, I'll take all the pats on the back, but truthfully, we are here to give you the information you need. It's fake. If it was fake, we would have quit 6 years ago, but we're almost on year 7. We love doing it. So we really appreciate the nice feedback. And if anybody else has it, type it on the comments, and I'm going to put it in a PowerPoint presentation, make it into a video, and say nice things till other people cry.
So we're on YouTube.
Out of happiness.
Yes. We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Breaking OWCP, Instagram, and Federal Interest Center. So
we're in so many places. If you don't find us, you're not trying, or you don't know how to use computers.
If you're needing a question answered and you're not on the Wednesday night chats, because I still have to figure out how to bring all the comments over to this stream that we're doing, please come on over to Wednesday night chats and type in your questions.
That'll help, because we'd love to answer them.
So let's get going, because it's going to be very lengthy and very detailed. So take notes. We're talking about schedule awards. A lot of people don't know what they are, because we went to the Bureau of Prison and they were like, what?
Yeah, but if you want to have a good time, go hang out with a bunch of prison guards. I mean, one dude was like
ginormous.
He's like most of the guys I grew up with in Princeton, Texas. He was just like one of my people. And you knew that he was one of them because he volunteered to get tased.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a good time, go to a prison convention, because they know how to have a good time. And we had more people who are prison guards stopping by on our table, hanging out, talking, sitting down. At one point I walked over to him, I was like, and there was like 4 of them at my table. I said, you know what? You guys look like this is important. I'm going to go get coffee. You hang out. But there's no more friendly group than a bunch of prison guards who fight for a living.
Yeah.
So like they're hard at work and they're soft outside. And if you're watching tonight, I just said that.
All right. What schedule award?
Well, in short, a schedule award is money. I always say when I'm in front of these large groups, heard of money. Everyone gets a good laugh out of it, but that's what a schedule. Yeah, she's heard of it. That's what a schedule award is. It's money. So what this is it's sort of like a final settlement in workers' comp for federal employees, where in the end, once you're as good as you can get, they give you money for certain conditions. The conditions generally excluded are spinal conditions: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacrum, unless it causes problems into your arms and legs. And then we can get those approved and get schedule awards on those. So anything but the spine, which I think it gives you a raw deal, because you got so many series, and I think that's probably on their part.
Oh, I'm just going to pause. We have Dr. Harper Birmingham.
Get out of here. Yeah, Dr. Harper himself is on?
Yes, he said, keep it growing.
Donovan Harper is on. Okay, so I'm going to stop. I will not forget where I'm at, but let me say this. Dr. Harper is our longest standing doctor at Federal Interest Centers.
Such a sweetheart.
He is a man after my own heart. I can sit, and I will for a minute, in fact, talk about Dr. Harper, because I really love this guy. And again, it's like a friend of mine is a friend of ours, right? But Dr. Harper has gotten more claims accepted than almost all the other doctors combined.
Yes.
So let that set in, okay? He is a beast. He wakes up and he goes to bed, and every minute in between is beast mode. When it gets claims accepted, he's efficient. He's a thinker. He's a smart dude. I mean, I love this story. He goes deer hunting. And if you hate hunting, forget that I said it. This deer watching, okay? And deer calling. He like blows kisses at them. But he knows when the deers are there because he's able to watch it on his phone. I mean, he's even got technology set up where he goes to see the deer and blow them kisses. So, I mean, he's always thinking like, how do I do this better, more efficiently? And the proof is in the pudding, because he's got over 500 accepted claims himself alone. Not just himself. He's got a medical doctor. He's got nurse practitioners, a doctor of physical therapy, a whole slew of people bumping into each other with licenses. He's got offices in Bessemer, which is like Birmingham, Montgomery, and newly opened Huntsville, Alabama. So, normally I don't spend a lot of time or that much time on a single doctor, but nobody has been with us longer than Dr. Harper, and nobody's gotten more claims accepted. So if you're not all giving hearts right now, you missed what I said, because nobody has done more to further your cause than Dr. Harper in Alabama. So check him out.
And we have the famous Dr. David Dorfman on.
Get out of here.
Why I'm laughing is because we hang out and we have a lot of fun with Dr. Dorfman and his girlfriend Mercedes. So he said, I remembered it's Wednesday. So offices in Tallahassee, Pensacola, Melbourne, Titusville, and Vero Beach, Florida. So he covers half of Florida.
Yeah, and he's got orthopedic. He's got other medical doctors, nurse practitioners, other chiropractors. He's got one of the best case managers we know in Candace. And so if you are in that area, that's where you need to be going. And some of you are going to say, well, hey, we have sorry, doc, I got to say this because others are going to say it. So I'll just cut it off at the head. You had some problems in the beginning. Yeah, we did. We have problems in the beginning of every office because that's part of training. But hang in there because it's whatever you heard. Believe me, it's all settled. Everything's good, and claims are getting accepted. Just because that's what we do. We get claims accepted. So if you're in Tallahassee, Pensacola, Melbourne, Titusville, or Vero Beach, Florida, or anywhere in those counties, the areas that they're at, that's where you go to get a claim accepted.
All right, so back, whatever Dr. comes on, we're gonna.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
We're just gonna pause real quick and give a shout out so that way you guys know.
Yeah, I like to talk about the docs and tell you something you didn't know about them.
Yeah. So back to schedule awards. You said you weren't gonna forget where you were at.
Well, I was talking about how it's a financial incentive. It's money at the end of a claim. So here's how this works. This is the first part. And Gini said, you better talk slower this time. Nobody has talked more about schedule awards to federal employees than I have. It doesn't mean that others haven't talked a lot about it, but who else has an hour and a half long show every week for the last almost 7 years?
Okay. Wait, one last doc.
Well, you just hold that one. Hold that. No.
Okay.
Sorry, whoever you are, we'll get to you in a minute. We get all the time, how do I get a schedule award? Or what is it? Or how do I qualify? Or when can I get it? Or, how do I make my doctor do it? So I'm going to speak slower this time. But again, this book in particular, this is my second book. And in this book, on schedule awards, and I'm really excited about this chapter so much so that I'm going to tell you what chapter it is. Because schedule award chart and how to calculate, chapter 10, page 131. Put this in your pocket. Chapter 10, page 131. So what I did there is I said, here's how you calculate, because the number one question is how much money can I get for this injury? And I said, okay, I don't know, but let me tell you how. And nobody had done this for you before, so I put it there. So check out book 2 and book 1 have a lot of laws related to schedule awards. But here's how this works. How do I get one? So I'm going to speak slowly. First, your doctor has got to say you are at maximum medical improvement. What is maximum medical improvement? So doctors refer to that as MMI, maximum medical improvement, MMI. So to be at MMI, you've got to be as good as you can get after your injury. So let's say you have a torn rotator cuff and you have surgery, you go through therapy, and the doctors have gotten you to the point where that's as good as you're going to get. Maybe it's perfect. You've got full range of motion, or maybe it's not. You've got partial range of motion, but that's as good as it's ever going to get, because you plateaued for however long, and the doctor said, okay, you're at MMI. There's nothing else we can do. At the point the doctor makes a medical decision that you cannot make, you can't even request it. You can't request a medical decision. It happens organically when it happens, okay? So when the doctor says, yes, you're an MMI now, that is the key to you being eligible for a schedule award. So how this works is the doctor will do an impairment rating based on the 6th edition to permanent impairment. Now, most of the doctors you go to only know how to do the 5th edition, and the 5th edition will get you $0 in your impairment rating or your schedule award. You can't use the 5th. So everybody repeat after me, you can't use the 5th edition. So you ask your doctor, do you know how to do 6th edition impairment ratings? And if your doctor says no, and they probably will, you say, okay, no problem. I'm an MMI. I'm going to go find another doctor. And then you go to Google and you search schedule award doctor in OWCP, and you find doctors like that.
So I'm going to read a question because what Chris just said between the 5th and the 6th edition. This is from Peggy Hathcock. I got denied on my first schedule award because my doctor did it on the 5th edition instead of the 6th. Dr. Cooper did my impairment rating with the 6th edition. Do I submit the reconsideration request and impairment rating at the same time?
Yes. Yeah. The new impairment rating is your new medical documentation for your reconsideration. Remember, in order to be able, and we're kind of like a tangent, but this is an important question. In order to do a reconsideration, you have to appeal within 12 months, and you have to have new information to present. So this qualifies for sure. That's how you do it.
Mark, you're asking how to contact us because I know you said you needed help filling out your CA1 and CA2. You can go ahead and message me after the live is done.
On Facebook Messenger.
On Facebook Messenger, just message me there. Or if anybody wants to know, to file your claim now, you go to ecomp.dol.gov, right, and it walks you through, and it's the same thing. The supervisors have 10 days to respond. Make sure you guys stay on them. Make sure you guys get your receipts as well and copies of everything.
Copies of everything, for sure. You can print everything out from eComp. Okay, so your doctors place you at MMI. You know you need a 6th edition impairment rating. So you find one that does that. Look, even we don't have that many. I think 5 or 6 of our doctors that do it because it's a specialized training thing, and there's not a lot of doctors in the country that do it. Many of our doctors are still training. If you want to wonder, like, what does that look on Chris's face mean? It's because many of them are still training. And, you know, for me, I created like a whole company in a week and wrote a book in 3 days. So I'm not sure what people are waiting on. Dr. Cooper, thank you for getting trained in light speed.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking for. Thank you so much. And Dr. Cooper is in Forest Park, Georgia, and Phoenix City, Alabama. So we have scheduled award doctors in St. Pete, Florida, in Phoenix City, Alabama, and Park City, Georgia.
Park City.
Forest Park, Georgia. Our newest office in Orlando, one of the doctors there is 6th edition trained, so they're going to be listed on our scheduled award doctor page. And our doctor in Ocala is trained. So that's what's trained right now. I don't think I missed anybody.
No, so speaking of the Orlando office, we have Dr. Fred Williams on.
Dr. Fred, what's up? So he
said he wants those books in his office.
I thought I left him 2 books.
You have to ask Lydia or.
Yeah, I left a couple, but just send me a text, Dr. Fred, and I'll send you some books.
And so on, Victor, you were asking about that you couldn't find my information that I sent to you. I know you got a lot going on. So that's Dr. Fred. You can go ahead and message him. Dr. Fred, look for Victor Sanchez. He handles the post office OWCP stuff. So you guys need to connect.
Yeah. So Victor, you're in charge of like 300,000 offices or something like that in the Orlando area. And Dr. Fred Williams is there. No, but seriously. So Dr. Fred's on. This guy is a super cool dude. He's got this office in Orlando. Like, it feels like right in the heart of Orlando. And he took an office, and he won't mind me saying, I hope, that when he opened it up, he probably looked at it and said, what the hell is this crap? And then he took it and turned it to this first class thing. Yeah. And that's the way he does all of his offices, because he got multiple practices around Florida.
Yeah, I've known him since 2013.
Yeah, and his so his front desk person is case manager.
Lydia.
They said 2 things to me that stood out and made me laugh. Because I record videos, so all of our doctors have to listen to my videos for training. Like you're listening to me now, right? But they have to do it. And one of them said, look, I hear your voice when I'm falling asleep. So we're on the right track, obviously. And the other one said, I'm pretty sure that the answer to every question is file a grievance. So I said, hey, the training has worked. That's exactly right. Tell people to file a grievance. So unless you're a roll carrier, you love that. All right, what's next?
Dr. Cox said, we offer the 6th edition evaluation and report with a third party based on your recommendations, which should be invaluable to those opinions that have been questioned in the past.
So in other words, Dr. Cox has somebody in Charlotte that can help you with your scheduled award. So that's fantastic.
Samara said, my doctor never said I'm at MMI, but I'm on permanent restrictions. Can I make an appointment with federal injury centers now and they determine I'm at MMI, or does my doctor have to do that first? My case is approved.
Yeah, so anybody can make an appointment with any federal injury center's office. You probably are going to want to get a referral from your doctor, because in OWCP, all referrals shall be honored. So I would recommend that. But if your doctor refuses to give you a referral, go anyways, because we are happy to help regardless of who is your treating physician. We're not trying to step on toes, but we got into this business to help you and not to set at red lights. I tell you, don't set at red lights, so we were not going to set there either. You're always welcome to come to us.
Yeah. All you got to do is go to federalinjurycenters.com and click locations, and you'll be able to find a doctor. And if you need a schedule award doctor, we have a tab that says schedule award. And that's all we have so far. So please be patient.
Don't read the next question yet. So I got to finish my whole thought from earlier. I haven't gotten to how to get a schedule award yet. So just to recap, you've got to be placed at maximum medical improvement, MMI, by your doctor. The doctor's got to be able to do a 6th edition impairment rating. It's got to be a rating on a condition that is rateable. The cervical, thoracic, and spine are generally not rateable. But if they cause problems into your arms and legs, those can be. So you may need a diagnosis expansion. Dr. Cooper can tell you a lot about that. We're going to have him on, by the way. And I'm going to talk to Dr. Cooper in our interview series. about what do you do when someone's diagnosis won't allow them to get a scheduled award? How do you fix that? So Dr. Cooper, be ready to answer that question. We both know the answer already, but that's definitely something you care about.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's say that your claim's accepted. You're in MMI, 6th edition. So you take your impairment rating and you attach it to a CA7, a claim for compensation. You send that to your claim examiner. From there, they either pay you or they write you a letter that says denied, and here's why. And if it's denied, it's not the end of the world. We'll fix it. Your doctor can fix it. But if you're one of our patients at one of our doctors, we'll fix it, because we'll take the denial and the letter will say specifically your claim is denied because, and we'll address that in a narrative in a reconsideration and get that overturned. Unless it's correct, obviously. I mean, look, the truth is the truth. We go with what's right. But when it's not, we fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the last thing I want to say, and then I'll answer some more questions. Everything I said is irrelevant if your claim is not approved. So people come to me all the time and say, why can't I have a scheduled award? And I say, what's your approved condition? They'll say, what? Well, that means, okay, your claim's not approved. So to qualify for a scheduled award, you have an approved claim. Then you got a diagnosis that qualifies. Then you need a doctor that can place you at MMI. You need to get as good as you can get, by the way. And then you get a 6th edition impairment rating. And then you send the whole thing in with the CA7 to your claims examiner and wait for their response. And if you lose, in other words, they say, nope, not going to pay you. You give your denial letter back to your doctor and say, let's fix this. As a last resort, you can always get a lawyer too. And of course, we always recommend Eric Blowers. So until he tells us to stop.
I'm going to stop.
I'm not sure what that means.
All right. Dr. Cooper said, I can go to Park City because you said Park City.
Yeah, I know we can.
Mary Swan, any scheduled award doctors in the Midwest?
So at this moment, Mary, you have two options. You can Google OWCP schedule award doctor in your city and state and see what shows up in Google. Or you can go to federalinjurycenters.com and go to the schedule award doctors tab, and you can see the very few that we've got. I'm serious. It's like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about that. But like I said, a lot of our offices haven't gotten on it like Dr. Cooper did. I mean, he just terminated that thing. Like Terminator, Arnold.
Anyways.
Okay.
Linda Carter.
Wait,
Wonder Woman.
Wait.
She said, hi, do you have any doctors in Los Angeles, California that do the schedule award rating 6th edition?
All right. So we've got 2 doctors in LA County. It looks like we're going to get to bring on a 3rd in LA County because that county is spread out and it takes like an hour to get every 15 minutes that you're driving. So we're trying to give you some more options there. And of those 3, I don't know which one is scheduled award trained, but we'll make sure one of them is at least.
These doctors are going to get us smacked.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Dr. Hawkins' office in Redondo Beach because generally speaking, if you tell her to do something, she's already on it.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to her about it, see where she's at with that.
Stephen Simon said, my doctor put me at MMI, but my case is closed.
Well, that's okay. I mean, a case being closed is a case that's ready to be reopened. So your doctor is going to have to write a letter explaining why it needs to be reopened. But when you're at MMI, and if your case was ever approved, you're always qualified for a scheduled award. Whether it's closed or not, the cutoff date for you being able to get a scheduled award is your death date.
Yeah.
So stay alive and get your scheduled award prior to that. Whether your case is closed or not is irrelevant. If it was ever approved, you're eligible.
Yeah.
You're eligible assuming that you have a diagnosis that's eligible.
Yeah. All right. Hope you guys are sharing.
Yeah, and you should be sharing a lot because this is one of the most important topics that we go over. People want to know about how to get their money.
Yeah.
So if you have any friends, tell your friends there's money for them. They can come watch.
Doug Abschner said, what is it meant by approved claim?
Oh, Doug, that's a great question. That's like the most basic thing that we teach our doctors. So let's say you get hurt and you're a federal employee. For our conversation, let's say you're like a clerk at the post office and you get injured doing whatever, and your doctor cannot write a good narrative report explaining medically why your injury is related to the job. Then your claim is denied. And OWCP, which is the Office of Workers' Compensation Programs, which is housed inside the United States Department of Labor, will say to you, denied because your doctor has not proven that your claim is related to the job. So that's what a denied claim is. Now, our doctors are trained to overcome that before it even comes up. Our denials don't come out as you didn't show causation, because we absolutely did. Usually if we get a denial, it's because the claims examiner forgot how to read in English.
Yeah. Samira Marie said, also, I have a spinal injury. I know for the spine, I can't get a schedule award. However, if it goes into my limbs, I could be eligible. I'm completely weaker in my arms. Do I need a specific diagnosis for this? Or will the schedule award doctor add any diagnoses? Diagnosis needed. What diagnosis do I need?
So so as far as what diagnosis do you need? You need the diagnoses approved on your claim that are the most severe diagnoses that are legitimate. What happens is a lot of people will get like a shoulder injury, right? And the doctor at the urgent care, which is a nurse practitioner and not even a doctor, will say, oh, you got a shoulder sprain, put some ice on it, go back to work tomorrow, full duty, you're back to work. COP will be cut off, by the way, thanks to that. And if you like pay, continuation of pay will be gone. So you go to the urgent care, that's what happens. They give you the sprain, you're back, ice, go back to work. But if you go to an OWCP trained doctor, they're going to look at it and say, well, not so fast. Let's get an MRI. Let's find out what the heck is going on here, because you got a shoulder problem. That means you can't lift your arm above here. And it wasn't like that the day before. Something happened. So what we do is we make sure that the highest level, most severe diagnoses that are legitimate are approved on your claim, so you don't have any problems later on, because it leads to all kinds of problems when the doctor is lazy when they're doing your diagnosis.
Vince Smith said, my claim was approved, then 40 days after my rotator cuff surgery was denied because of the doctor's statement. What are my options? Okay, so your claim is approved, but your rotator cuff surgery was denied, is what I think you said. And if I'm wrong, then just restate it and I'll fix it. But it sounds like you need a diagnosis expansion, because if you need surgery and they want approved surgery, it means that you're approved conditions like a sprain or something that's not surgical. They will only approve surgical diagnoses like rotator cuff tear or some other, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but some other tear. But a sprain and a strain are not surgical. And almost always when surgeries are not approved, it's because your diagnosis is a low-level diagnosis. Yeah. Mr. Ahmad, you said, I got a schedule award 20 years ago. Can I ask for reconsideration, because now I feel it was not fair? You can. So you're allowed to go again and see if you've gotten worse. And if it's worse, they can adjust your schedule award and give you more money. I will defer to Eric Blowers on that. Eric is our lawyer friend who is good at this and knows a lot about that subject. So if that's something you're interested in, we can always post Eric's number down here so you can give him a call. Or just message me after the live, and I'll get your phone number and I'll have them give you a call. Now, if you message Gini and you have a question and you say, I need a lawyer. So my friends told me to lawyer up or whatever, and she hears your story and says, you don't need a lawyer, you need a doctor, then you don't need a lawyer. You need a doctor. And that's what Eric will say. Eric will talk to you for 10 minutes and say, hey, you're not ready for me yet. Don't pay me. You need a doctor to do the right job. So if you send us a message asking for a lawyer, we may ask you, hey, what do you need? Yeah, because that might not be what's best. It may not be what's best for you. And another thing, whether it's third party, schedule award, or whatever help you need, and you have an attorney, unfortunately, he cannot talk to you if you're represented by somebody else. So yeah, it's just, he can be disbarred, and no lawyer can. It's not just him. Yeah, I mean, a lot of you are like, I just have a question, but can't talk to you. Can. So if you're represented by somebody else, you can, and that's okay. To be represented by somebody else is okay. No problem at all. It's just if you are, he legally cannot speak with you. Mr. Cooper, Dr. Cooper said, for cervical spine schedule award question, if the diagnosis is cervical disc with myopathy, and she has arm weakness, it's rateable based on what I'm hearing. Well, that's exactly right. So what you would get is a diagnosis expansion to deal with the arm problem. So you can do a schedule award for the arm. And then I'm going to address this to everybody as well, because I get phone calls all the time and messages. I almost fell back, and there's no back to this chair. You wouldn't believe how we have our studio, set up. We should take a picture of this and post it so you can see. We got a side table set on top of a coffee table and a laptop, and we had to move the coffee table so it could plug into the plug over there. But the view is great. And we brought our chairs, and we can see the trees out there. There's no mountains yet. Nick Runco said, do you have any doctors that specialize in nerve damage? Okay, so a lot of you ask about specialists. My only advice is, one, you could either go through your insurance, and when your claim gets accepted, you can get reimbursed.
Which is not ideal.
Right. Number two, just call one of the federal injury centers that you're close to and see if they have doctors. Obviously, they have doctors that they refer to, so you're going to want to ask one. But we don't have specialists on our team. It's the doctors who are referring out to them.
And like Dr. Lee in Pinellas Park, Florida, he's got a whole group of specialists that work with him. One of them is a pain management, one's a neurologist, orthopedic surgeons. But not all the doctors have that, because the specialists have to agree to be in the network. We can't make them do anything, but we sure try.
Yeah. And Melissa Quill said, I'm seeing a new doctor on Monday and hopefully get some insight. I had to go to the urgent care and got a sprain diagnosis, and I had numbness in my hands and arms. How was that even possible? It's just ridiculous.
Okay, so I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to overrule doctors, but from what I know, all right, let me say this differently. I am 47, almost 48 years old. I started in healthcare at age 20. And what I know about some doctors is they're lazy, some of them. Some of them are cowards. Some of them just don't understand or not willing to go the extra mile, much less the extra step. And so I think that's a common thing, unfortunately, and it's a reason why so few doctors want to sign up with us. When we've got 50 some odd doctors, I've been saying that for months, because some of them come and go, you know?
Yeah.
But we could have hundreds of doctors if everybody would just pull their head out and say, hey, this is a good thing, we should help. I know, pull their head out. Fortunately, the doctors that work with us have already pulled their head out. If they were ever in there, they were fully out now. No, I'm just kidding. Our doctors are fantastic, and that's how you know, because we get all the claims accepted. But unfortunately, we get 100 no's for every one yes, and those are the ones with their heads all the way lodged up.
All right, Tanya G from YouTube says, how long can you be on LWAP after MMI?
So you can be on LWAP for a long time. I mean, I know people that have been on LWAP for decades. So how long can you be on is like forever. But typically, if you're out of work for a year, on most crafts, you're done. They're going to try to retrain you, help you do something else. If you're a role carrier, that number is 2 years. Yeah. So the key that I want to tell you is what I say in my books and what I've said to many of you when I'm live training you. And it's the surest way to get paid is to clock in. Well, the surest way to have fewer problems is to go back to work. When you can't, you can't. But that's what limited duty assignments are for. So try to get those if you're a role carrier. On top of not doing many grievances, you also don't get many limited duty assignments. But outside of the role craft, you have an opportunity to go back to work. And I recommend that.
Yeah.
Because I hate to see you struggle financially. And once you clock in, they're required to pay you if they don't like it.
Victor said, where's Gini Helms' big martini glass? Well, we're in Utah.
Well, it's in Florida. We don't travel with it. It doesn't fit in the suitcase. It's too big.
It only travels from Mangoes back home.
When we're driving.
Yeah. Melissa Quell says, I was a PA at an urgent care. I'm seeing an occupational health doctor. Is that the right type?
Okay, so that's fine. If your occupational health doctor is credentialed with Department of Labor, that's good. And if your occupational health doctor is trained in how to get claims accepted, that's great. Many of you have heard us. Maybe you're new, maybe not. But if you've been here more than a few times, you've heard me say, if you love your doctor, stay there. We only have doctors like Dr. Cooper and the other ones that have been here. We only have doctors because it's a need that you had. Most states don't have a single doctor. And so I said, hey, I can fix that. I can go and get doctors to join a franchise like McDonald's. They can follow all my rules, although I don't teach them or tell them how to make medical decisions. I can tell them how to make OWCP decisions. And so, that's why we have the doctors, is because you need them. But if you have one already that's great, you stick with that doctor, because that's gold. What am I looking at? Well, you can read that.
Okay.
How can we? I don't know.
Oh, wait, no, that goes with. Oh, this is a different person. Oh, Melissa Weinberg. Doctor gave me permanent work restrictions, and it's working up my primacy rating now. What if anything do I do now?
Well, you follow your doctor's orders. There's going to be a new CA-17 updated CA20. You're going to have your impairment rating. And the doctor's going to say what you can and can't do. You just have to follow the doctor's orders. Now, if your agency starts to give you a hard time, that's when you're in a union. The doctors are only able to do what they can do. And what they can do is get your claim accepted, get you back as good as they can get you, like MMI, give you an impairment rating for a schedule award, and say, here's what we recommend for your future. These are the duties you can continue to do, and here's your CA-17. From there, your union's going to fight for you like crazy.
Melissa Quill said, I'm new here, LOL.
That's well, welcome, Melissa. We're glad to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, please tell your friends. At some point, you didn't know this information, and you showed up. Somebody told you about this, so tell somebody else.
Cortland Carter said, if I was originally taken off work due to a recurrence by DOL, denies the reoccurrence and won't pay because they say I'm not disabled, can I still be paid due to the fact of the on-the-job injury doctor has placed me on medicines that I cannot take while working and would be typically compensated by DOL?
So the way you get paid when you're out of work due to a legitimate work injury that's been accepted is that you get your doctor to write what we call a disability narrative. And that narrative report is a report your doctor types up that explains medically why you still have to be out of work because of your work injury. Normally, you attach that to your CA7, and that'll help you get paid.
Vince Smith said, to recap previous comment, my claim was approved for rotator cuff surgery, USPS. After surgery was done, claim denied. What are my options? Denied based on doctor's comments. Can you give me a second opinion?
So I don't see this very often. A claim being approved, and after surgery, they went ahead and said, no, not so fast, we deny. Something's missing. What I'm going to need you to do is email me your denial letter. My email address is Chris, CHRIS, and this applies to anybody. Anybody's got a denial letter they'd like me to read, Chris at federalinjurycenters.com. You can see our logo on our screen. It's Federal Injury Centers with the S on the end. If you don't put the S, it won't get to me. So Chris at federalinjurycenters.com. I'd like to read the denial letter because honestly, if your claim was approved and then later on they denied it, there is something that's being missed here because that's not standard.
That's so sweet. Samira Marie said, this is the best place to be if you have an injury. Aww.
Well, I hate that you have an injury. You know, I tell people all the time, I hope we're at the prison convention. And I said so many times, I hope you don't need this. But if you do, this is where you go. So I'm glad you're here.
Okay, so whatever other questions you have on schedule award, get them all out because then you all are going to blow up my messenger.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about this subject ever again until next time.
Tanya from YouTube said, what are your thoughts on nurse case managers?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on nurse case managers. Number one thought is what they should do. They should be there to help you the way I'm helping you. They should be like your number one go-to. When you have a problem, they should be there to answer because God knows their job is to help you recover and get back to work full duty, which is fantastic. Here's the problem, that too many of them don't understand the rules. And like I've had nurse case managers that have tried to pull patients out of chiropractors' offices because they didn't know the MD or nurse practitioner was in the next office next door. So they didn't know the rules. And when you get pulled out of one of my offices, I assure you, you're getting hurt. Because you're going to end up someplace that doesn't care about you and doesn't know how to get your claim accepted or fill out your whatever, 17s. Yeah. So that's a problem. But I think in general, nurse case managers have the right job. There needs to be somebody in their position that's helping you because you need the help. Like you need it. But what they should be doing is saying to your supervisor, hey, the doctor has requested limited duty. Fine limited duty. They should be saying, oh, you're having a problem, your claim's denied, let me tell you how and what we do to fix it. But they're not. Unfortunately, too many of them, and not all of them, but too many. And if it's two, it's too many. If it's one, it's too many. Too many of them are doing what makes you feel like they're sabotaging you. Right. And so the rules state that you can write your claims examiner and request that nurse case manager to be removed from your case, and they have to honor that. So that's something. Hopefully you don't need to do that, because they should be working in your best interest.
You also said, if doctors release restrictions, do you return immediately or is there a set date?
No, if the doctors change restrictions, then the next day your restrictions change. So like the very next day, you should be able to do the new restrictions.
First off, I want to give a shout out to father-in-law. Hey, Dad.
Oh,
he said, love you, Chris and Gini.
My dad just moved to Jacksonville, so he got the Florida bug too. Hey, Dad, what's happening?
Shelley Dean said, how long should it take for you to get your schedule award? I went to Chicago back in 2018 and just got my case accepted for disability, but now money for award yet, but no money for award.
Well, if you had an impairment rating and you turn that in with a CA7 and you haven't been paid, that means that in your case file and your e-comp file is probably a denial letter. I'd go check that out. And if it's not there and they haven't made a decision, then call your claims examiner and find out what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
I mean, 2018 or 19, whatever he says, that's a long time ago. You should have been paid already or denied so you can fix it.
Yeah.
So we got up, while she's looking for a question, we got up at 4 a.m. today in Florida to fly to Utah, which is awesome because I was super excited. But just like 2-3 days ago, we got up at 4 a.m.
He isn't happy at all.
To make a flight to where? Savannah? Or no, Dallas.
No, Dallas.
And prior to that, we had to get up early to go to Savannah. And prior to that, we flew to Charlotte.
He's not a 4 a.m. guy, but today he was. And you guys know that because I post that and say that on Facebook.
Yeah, so today I got up at 4 a.m. and I was like, oh, we're going to Utah.
He was like, the alarm came on and he jumped out.
I need coffee.
Yeah.
Where's my dog? So I went and found my dog, got my coffee, and right now I'm fading. You should have seen me. I fell asleep for like 20 minutes on the sofa right over there, and I woke up and I looked like my face had been like, whatever sleepy face is, I had a Hulk sleepy face, like the sleepy face that Hulk has. It was like out there. So anyways, we're going to go like 10 or 15 more minutes, and then I'm going to pass out over there.
And I'm going to go sit by the fireplace outside.
Yeah. So ask your questions. 10 or 15 more minutes. I got a little bit more in me.
Cortland Parker said, what if I just did a reconsideration? The doctor literally just did it, the narrative. Can I still file a CA7 and attach the narrative, or would I have to wait until the reconsideration is done?
So nothing bad can happen for you going ahead and attaching it and submitting it. Okay, the worst thing that can happen is they deny. But every denial gives you an opportunity to appeal, so that's not the end of the world.
Karen Hoyt said, as a rural carrier, I was administratively separated from USPS 1.5 years after a re-injury. Have been on OWCP since April 2010. Current doctor has reported for second year in a row MMI. Do I wait for OWCP to try and cut my benefits again?
No, I don't often recommend that you call a lawyer, but you're one that should call Eric and get his advice because something's going on that's unusual. So you can
just message me after the chat, and I'll have Eric give you a call. Please put your phone number. This is what Dr. Cox is saying to you.
So what are the options is? So Dr. Cox in Charlotte said, let's talk about the options as if there was a surgical repair to, let's say, the supraspinatus or one of the other rotator cuff muscles, and then they didn't consider the damage caused by radiculopathy. That should be considered. Okay, so what he's saying is, they didn't consider that diagnosis, so let's get it added. And that's what Dr. Cox's office does, and Dr. Cooper, and all of the ones that do the schedule awards. What they'll do is they'll add the new diagnosis so you have a greater likelihood of getting a larger schedule award.
Samira Marie said, what paperwork documents should we get together before our schedule award appointment?
Well, the doctor's going to tell you what they want to see, but generally, if you're not already their patient, they're going to need to see all your records. But ask the doctor when you call what they want to see, but they're going to need to see a lot of stuff. Unless you're already a patient of theirs and they have your records already.
All right, so Celia said she's been offered 10 months to recover from her rotator cuff tear. She wants to go back to work I get to go back to work next week, my limitations. So her rep told her that she's going to send her a letter for second opinion from their own doctor to give their opinion of restrictions and set up a schedule award. Should I get a lawyer? How do I know the schedule award is enough? And if I accept the schedule award, does that close my account forever? What if it's closed, and will I need treatment in the future? So
you can accept the schedule award and still get a modified schedule award later if it was wrong. You can still get treatment later. If you continue to have symptoms, you have lifetime medical benefits, so that's not going to go away. But should you speak to a lawyer, it can't hurt. Generally, you can speak to the lawyer for free, and that's why I say it can't hurt.
Yeah.
And if the lawyer thinks, wow, you left tens of thousands of dollars on the table, well, then maybe you want to work with that lawyer, right?
I guess Eric is going to get blown up tomorrow by me.
Yeah.
Nick Runko said, what happens when you have been on approved OWCP off work because your doctor restrictions, and now I have received separation from the service letter USPS? What options do I have?
Well, you got to go straight to your union. There's nothing any doctor can do about it except get your claim accepted. I'm not sure I heard a date of injury there, so I'm not sure what or the craft. But every craft is a little different. Some give you a year off, some give you 2 years off. Some supervisors are just bigger jerks than the rest. Whatever the issue is, and if your claim isn't accepted, your diagnosis isn't correct, there's a lot that can go wrong if you're at an untrained office. I'm not saying you are, but there's a lot that can be. So I have more questions than answers. But surely your union is going to have to fire for you.
Tanya said, what to do if the physical therapist thinks you're okay to do your pre-injury job and you know you're not?
Well, the physical therapist doesn't make that decision. It doesn't mean that they're not smart and licensed healthcare providers, but the medical doctor makes that decision. So that's really important to understand. PTs can't sign CA-17s.
Samira Marie said, is a lawyer needed or strongly recommended for a schedule award, or once we get a rating, do we just need to submit that?
So I think you get your rating first and submit that. And if they approve it, you're good to go. If you suspect that your rating's low, you may need a lawyer for sure. And if you get denied, you may need a lawyer. But it's not automatic that you need one.
Misty Alexa said, I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too. And I really love that you said that.
Victor wants to know what shirt you're wearing. I went to school here, so
Utah football, buddy.
So
football.
We went to the
and it's football season. Do you know we only have
football?
We have 1 week or two before it just all hell breaks loose, and I need to watch 12 hours of football every weekend.
Judy said, you guys are so informative. Well,
thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Mary Swan, where is Dr. Cooper located?
So he's in Forest Park, Georgia. The way he describes it, and made sense the first time I ever went there, is you can see the planes landing at the airport in Atlanta. He's also in Phoenix City, Alabama, which is basically Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah. Kevin said, how do you know if a schedule award is a fair amount? Is there a guide we can look up?
Well, you can. Okay. I'm really glad you asked. So I wrote a chapter in the book on if it's correct. So if you know the variables, like what your impairment percentage is, and that's where it's going to go wrong. If your doctor does a bad impairment rating, it throws everything off. But let's say they do a good one. You multiply the impairment percentage times your pay rate times the number of weeks from your from the schedule award chart, and that tells you how much money you're going to get. So it's not rocket science, but the whole key to the whole thing is, did your doctor do a proper impairment rating?
Sorry, you see me. I'm scrolling from my Facebook page to YouTube.
We don't have one screen with all the questions yet, but
Yeah.
maybe that technology will come one day.
Okay, let's.
Now that we're streaming on 4 different platforms.
Okay, Samira Marie said, there's an employee at work whose claim was denied and he did an appeal instead of reconsideration. If the appeal is denied, can he go back and file reconsideration? Okay,
so a reconsideration is one of the 4 ways to appeal. So if he did a reconsideration, then he did an appeal. If he did an oral hearing, it was an appeal. Review the written record, that's an appeal. ECAP, appeal. When you get a denial, assuming there's one coming, you can always do a reconsideration, because with every denial, you have an opportunity to get new information from your doctor, submit it, and you have 12 months from every denial to submit a reconsideration. So whatever was done, when you receive the letter of denial, or hopefully approval, and you don't need this anymore, but when you get the denial letter, if that comes, you can always file a new reconsideration. Reconsiderations, you can file an infinite number of them. Like, it just never goes away. If your doctor has new information to submit, they will consider it.
Melissa said, anything that is specific advice or process for a rural carrier craft?
Well, okay, for the rural carriers in particular, I will tell you this. Get back to work as soon as possible. You're going to be at your pre-injury pay, and you get 2 years off before they will, reassign you or take your job away. But in that 2 years, if you're not at work, you're not also getting your pay increases. So your pay on your CA-7s is based on your old pay. Your COP is based on your old pay. Everything, your schedule award is based on your old pay. But when you get back to work, and when you're at work, I think for like 60 days straight full duty, then they readjust your salary to today's pay. And that's a big deal. So I tell everybody, get back to work as soon as possible. I'm not telling you to go back and break your back. It's already broken. I'm saying when you can work, go to work, because the surest way to get paid is to clock in. And the surest way to get your updated salary is to be on the clock for a period of time.
Norma wants to know where she can get the books. So there's 3. There's volume 1, 2, and 3.
So
We
this
just have
is
1 and 2 right now.
The gray one is 2. The black one is 3. I just came out with the black one not that long ago. The original one I wrote during COVID when we were all locked down. Well, no, I'm sorry. When we were locked down, but you were still working. I spent 28 hours in a 3-day period writing book 1. And the key to book 1 are the rules, laws, and regulations that you need to know about that your supervisors are giving you bad information on that's killing your cases from day 1. So you need to get that. It's only on PDF, and that's on purpose. Could I print more? Yes. But you know what? As soon as I do that, you don't have it in your pocket, on your phone, at work when this happens, and you're wishing you had it. So I'm making you do what you don't want to do. So get it on PDF. Look, I like books too. I keep my own books. I have a whole library of actual books that I like to pull off and read and go to my bookmark and say, what did I read last? I like books. They're almost like trophies to me. But the biggest trophy for me is you having an accepted claim and not getting screwed over. So download the books at www.breakingowcp.com. Breaking OWCP, like you see in the title, .com.
There's a little name at the bottom of the book too.
Yeah, so this particular one has a chapter by attorney Eric Blowers. And you recognize that other face, the prettier one. So yeah, get Breaking OWCP, go to there.com. And look, I want you to have the paperbacks that I've got available, but really what I want is for you to have the PDF, save it to your phone, put your phone in your pocket, and God forbid you ever need it, it'll be there.
Yep. Black Butterfly said, hi.
I want to be named Black Butterfly.
I'm new to the live.
Welcome.
I'm regular rule carrier. I've been off with an injury since February 2022. That's this year. Is it true that the annual time is being taken away the longer I'm out? Oh, yeah. Somebody's delivering something to our room. I didn't even hear that.
Sorry.
Jacqueline, he's going to answer that in a minute, Mr. or Mrs. Butterfly. Jacqueline from Dr. Cox's office in Charlotte said, September 8th, they're having an NFL kickoff with food and snacks all day for the patient. They go above and beyond.
September, am I going to be there?
No.
I love NFL.
They go above and beyond for their patients. They do an amazing
job.
job.
Man, nobody organizes an event like Jacqueline. Nobody. Like if she's doing an event and you don't show up, you just miss a good party.
All right. So Butterfly said, hi, I'm new to live. I'm a rule carrier. I've been off with an injury since February 2022. Is it true that the annual time is being taken away the longer I'm out?
Okay. So there are certain benefits that carry on while you're out. You need to talk to your union about this because I gotta be honest with you. I am not an expert in your union contract. There's multiples of them. So I'm not really sure, but you need to go to your union and ask that question.
Yeah.
You get to keep some benefits. Some of them grow whether you're out or not, and others don't, but they pause. You need to find out which ones of yours are pausing by getting involved with your union.
Cortland Carter said, I don't know if you guys answered this or not, but if you filed a reconsideration, can you still attach the narrative to a new CA7 or just wait?
No, you can attach it to a new CA7. But what you need is a doctor writing what's called a disability narrative explaining why you're medically needed to be off work. That has to be what's attached to the CA7. If that narrative report you're referring to does that, then you're good to go.
Celia said, any doctors in Sacramento, California area?
Not yet.
Does the surgeon give me the MMI? Well, the first question is there are only 2 doctors right now, one in Thousand Oaks and one in Redondo Beach. Just go to federalinjurycenters.com and you can find their location. I know it's far. I used to live in
California. We understand it's far, but it's, the cost of the drive is worse than the cost of a denied claim, believe me. And we understand you need people in Sacramento, San Diego,
we're working
San Francisco. Like we understand, believe me, we know. The first 2 offices that are willing to do this in California are ours. So it's a bad thing for you, but we're working on it.
And her other question was, does the surgeon give me the MMI?
Well, your treating doctor does your MMI or refers you to somebody who can.
Dr. Cox said, I wanted to mention that we are now accepting schedule awards. It takes 1 to 2 weeks to get them approved and in the queue for evaluation process. Anyone thinking about it should reach out to the local FIC offices and get the queue, as I know we are getting more requests each day and I want to help them in a timely manner.
Yeah, so let me put this another way. if you go to any doctor, not just federal injury centers, but any, and you say, I want a 6th edition impairment rating, and they say, okay, we need to schedule you for 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, or whatever, say thank you, because you have a lifetime to get your award. Stay alive, okay? These doctors get really busy because there's so few of them and so many of you. So just be patient with them because they want to help you. Dr. Cox, I really appreciate you saying that. They're going to put you in a queue and get you in as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah. Stephen Simon said, had an award back in 2013. If I go back to add percentage to it, will it pay it or the old scale?
No, it can be increased. It can be increased, but now you're running into an area where Eric Blauer is going to have to help you. I won't be able to help with that because I'm not an expert in that area, but I can tell you where to go.
Good old Eric.
Yeah.
Norma said, thank you. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Samira Marie said, last question, I swear. I had a carpal tunnel before I was a USPS employee, had surgery then. It hasn't bothered me since, and that was 2007. Can I still file work comp, or would this not be considered to be caused by work?
Well, I mean, you can file a work injury claim anytime it's been 3 years or less from the date of injury or the date you knew you were hurt. There's an exception to that that's called the date of last exposure. So you could have a problem and then like you were exposed to that problem again tomorrow. You could file a CA2 for that. It's complicated and I try not to teach it because it's so complicated. The best thing for everybody to do is report your injuries now so you don't lose any benefits, certainly within 3 years so you can have all of your benefits medically.
Miss Adams said, I've had rotator cuff surgery, and ever since then, I've been having severe neck spasms that's been radiating from my shoulder to my neck. What do I need to do to see if my shoulder surgery caused the neck spasms?
Well, you got to go to the doctor. That's unfortunately something I can't do for you because I'm not one. I'm not a doctor. But you need to go to your doctor and say, hey, this is happening. Why is this happening? Is it related to the surgery?
Yeah. I'm going to check. Dr. Cooper's still on, Dr. Cox is on, Jacqueline's on, Dr. Dorfman's on, Dr. Fred Williams is on. Phil, let me pass this to Chris real quick so you can just read it because it's lengthy.
All right, so just talk to me.
All right, so again, if you want the books with the special chapter from Eric Blowers, go to www.breakingowcp.com. You can buy the hardcover. I think we have a few of volume 2, and volume 3 we have a ton. And go to breakingowcp.com and buy them there. Also, our gear, and a lot of you have been asking about t-shirts and cups and stuff, and Chris put a whole bunch of stuff on there as well. You can go and look at our gear. And Tanya, I'll get your answer after Chris.
Okay, so I read this from
Phil.
So Phil, you had injuries. You've been dealing with this for a while. You're not getting better. And you said, what about disability? Now your doctor doesn't want to help you because you said disability. And the doctor said, well, why don't you just keep working and get better? You've had 46 or so or whatever therapy sessions and all this stuff. So what Phil's saying is, I've had all this work and I'm not getting better. What are my options? Okay, so you can keep following your doctor's orders, which I always recommend that because, I'm not qualified to tell you not to. If your doctor thinks you have more you can do to get better, I recommend it, okay? But medical decision-making involves your decisions too. So what do you think? If you think you're not getting better, you definitely qualify for disability. It's the last chapter in the last book that I wrote. I don't like this topic because it means you're disabled from your job. But you do qualify for it. You can have federal disability at any time. You'll need a doctor who can write a narrative to get the disability. If I did not answer your question thorough enough, please send us a private message on Facebook Messenger, and we'll keep helping you because what you're going through sounds complicated and frustrating.
And Tanya from YouTube said, why does OWCP put you on periodic roll? Do they go by the office visits?
Okay, so periodic roll means that they have decided they agree with your doctor that you're going to be out for a period of time that's extended, and you don't need to keep filling out CA7s every 2 weeks. So they're just going to automatically pay you every couple of weeks without you having to fill that out. Being on periodic roll is good for you. It's kind of less hassles, but ultimately you want to get back to work full duty and clock in because that's where all the money's at. All your benefits are at.
And David Cohen said, thank you for the last exposure rule mention. I didn't know that.
Yeah, look, if you're going through something and, let's say you had like a pre-existing condition, you joined the Postal Service or the VA or TSA or Border Patrol or wherever with a pre-existing condition. Let's say that pre-existing condition is because you were fighting in Afghanistan, which is very common, obviously. And that condition is kind of dormant or you're dealing with it, but the job worsens it, accelerates it. It's covered. Well, the same applies to anything that you developed through the course of your employment and have just been dealing with it for all this time. Because now you still have this condition and the job is making that condition worse. So that's another way to get a date of last exposure claim approved. And look, these are the things we look at because our job is to get 100% of your claims approved. So that's something we consider.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. Karen said, thank you, Gini and Chris. I will message you with more info regarding my claim.
Good. We're glad to help.
And then Samira Marie said, you guys have helped me so much tonight and every time I've been on. Thank you for all you do. Well, no, thank you guys for your support. And we just want you to know, tell your friends they can find us on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Breaking OWCP, Federal Injury Centers. All of these pages have this live going on. And soon, all of our offices will be streaming as well our chats. So that's coming up as well. Also, don't forget, if you're in the Salt Lake area, Provo, or wherever in Utah, come
see us tomorrow. Let's go.
Come meet Dr. Wood and his staff. They're so enthusiastic. They've done so much to prepare for this. We're so excited. And for all of our friends, and you guys know who you are, we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow as well at the open house. There will be appetizers and
I'm
drinks.
looking forward to the rest of you becoming friends of mine. So please come.
Yeah, and we will be going live from there tomorrow. So once Chris starts to talk, I will be going live and I'll be doing a tour of the office.
So what'll happen is like she'll put me live. I'll do my talk. I'll drop the mic. When I drop it, it'll make a loud bang. That's fine. I'll walk away. And then she'll tour the office from there. But the loud bang was me dropping the mic.
I don't know what the loud bang is.
It's me dropping the mic.
Anyway, also we wanted to say thank you to Dr. Cox and his team and Jacqueline for inviting us out about almost a month maybe.
Oh, it was a hell of a lot of fun.
We also want to thank all the BOP. They had their national convention in Savannah. We got to see some very large men and women, and they're softies at heart, but they do get injured.
I want to thank ex-NFL player Eugene Robinson for inviting me on his live show in Charlotte. Looking forward to that. And while we were there, we were able to hang out with Eric and Mark and their NCIS and FBI buddies. That was a hell of a lot of fun. It's nice being in our position, helping you, and knowing that I've got some people that carry guns around for a living helping me. So that's really nice. But we have friends in all the agencies.
Yeah.
We hope to see many of you there tomorrow. And man, this is so much fun, and it's such a blessing to be able to help all of you.
So I'm letting you guys know we're going to be in Gilbert, Arizona. I'm going to be posting the new schedule for the September. The month of September, we're gone every week. We're going to be in Gilbert, Arizona. Then we go to Miami, Florida, where it's going to be a complete party. And then we're going to go to Pennsylvania. And then in October, we're going to be doing our open house in Orlando with Dr. Fred. So all these open houses are coming. The reason we do them is for you guys to meet us, see the office, meet the doctors, and get a feel of what's going on, how the treatment is going, and what they all do. And our staff does a great job with training. So with training all these doctors. So we're thankful to them.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. We've gone an hour and a half, a little more, which is fine. It's great, actually. We do this all the time now. If you weren't on in the beginning, we had Kenny Hodge on. Kenny Hodge is a mail handler who's a Marine, an Army drill sergeant, an ex-supervisor of more than 2 decades. He's been a mail handler for nearly that long as well. He's been president of his union, and he's running again for a tri-state area. So Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky. Kenny Hodge is a good friend to us. He's a good friend to me. That means he's a good friend to you.
Yeah.
So he knows his stuff. I'm telling you right now, this is a guy that will fight to the death for you. Believe me. So go pass the word around. So go back and look at Kenny Hodge. He's a cool dude and a powerful guy. He carries around a big stick at all times.
Yeah.
And that's what you need from your union leaders.
And just to let you guys know, we will not be on next week. We are actually traveling out of state with our family for a little vacation, and gonna be attending.
Yeah, we get a break too.
Yeah, we're gonna be attending some things with family in Jersey, so we look forward to that. So we won't be on the first week of September, but remember, come October, we're gonna do the share giveaway. We're gonna pick 2 winners each month.
Whoever's sharing the most gets the prize.
Yeah, you get a $100 gift card to where you want. So keep that in mind when October comes. This way you have a little something extra for the holidays.
And why do we do that? Let me tie it back to the books. So the subtitle of this book is You Are Not Alone. That's number 2. The third book, the subtitle is We're All in This Together. I'm trying to get the message out that, look, you come here for information, for answers. Where do your friends go when they haven't heard of this yet? So it's your job to not let your friends be alone, your coworkers, even the people at work that you don't like, but you know they're getting a bad deal. They shouldn't be alone. Don't let people be alone. So tell them this is happening. Tell them they can come to Wednesday night OWCP chats with Chris and Gini, not with Derek. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know anything. He's got me blocked, so I can't go see what he knows. And go to breakingowcp.com. I have started a new TikTok page on Breaking OWCP.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you that I believe that I have turned into a clown. TikTok's addicting. I've spent
hours.
I've spent easily 24 hours over the last few weeks just researching and watching what other people do so I can see what I'm supposed to do. But go check that out too. I'm going to start posting things from the books, like helpful tips from the books, and tell you what page that those are in. And also I'm doing some fun stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, do me a favor. Don't tell me. Just tell me if you do like it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you
Which
so much.
isn't how social media works.
I know.
Yeah. I had one guy that gave me 12 negative messages. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. I hadn't even had my first cup of coffee, and I was reading it. I was like, and the guy said, I was on the phone with him for 3 hours. And this is how I know he didn't know me, because I've never in my life been on the phone for 3 hours.
With me only.
Well, even there, I wasn't doing any talking.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Now you guys are watching us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all the Facebook pages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see you back in 2 weeks.
Yep. Tell all your friends.
Yeah, I'm going to go outside now because it's 56 degrees, and we're going to sit by the fireplace. So those of you that are in Utah, we'll see you tomorrow, not next week, tomorrow. And we look forward to it. So,
all right, that's it.
Bye, everybody.
Live from Park City, Utah. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night.